He's quite a dancer, and he and I took the Max downtown to the Saturday market, and Boca Marimba were playing the Saturday market. And I never knew he was a crazy-ass dancer. I thought I was the only one that spun like a Tasmanian devil. And it's like, oh, another one. So I thought, my brother from a different mother. He grounds me. He truly grounds me. Probably an overused word. But, when we talk, he talks at a deep level, kind of like a spiritual advisor, a priest, a counselor, a coach, a facilitator. And we just talk about each other's lives, what's up for each other, and it's a way of just sharing some of the crap going on, so you just discharge it, and also do the attaboys both directions. So it's great. We chat weekly. Wow, this is a good one. This is a stumper for me because we've shared everything, He knows I jumped out of an airplane back in 90. Wow. Can I come back to that one? His authenticity. He's just really grounded. He'll talk to you in like a heart-to-heart connection. It's not superficial. He wants the best for you. He's a kind-hearted, gentle, compassionate person, and it's like he just wants the best for each person. So it's like, thanks, Mark. What was the question again? Greatest strength. Kind of it'd be standing for who he really is. Present, loving, compassionate person. And you see it demonstrated every day. He doesn't wander off the path. He's focused on self-improvement, and he wants to help others improve if they so choose, Yeah. Japanese American in his 70s, divorced, had 2 kids. So that's kind of the structural aspect. And why you should meet him is it's so good to be listened to as another person. And he really knows how to listen effectively. And if you want some questions back, so you can have a dialogue, he's good at that. Just kind of nursing the conversation along. It's like perfectly worded. So he's very cool and excellent photographer and very well read and a great dancer. Happy birthday, Mark. Someday you'll catch up with me. See you later.
Thank you.
Sorry.
You're so good.
Okay. So, hi, Mark. I wrote something down for you. I wanted to tell you what it is that I admire about you. So, dear Mark, you have a welcoming smile that invites people in. You listen with kindness. You have an eye for capturing picture-perfect moments. You are curious and always trying new things. You are honest about yourself. You love life and have great compassion for others. You put yourself out there and inspire me to be as brave. You are always collecting people and to share in your life experiences, and I'm grateful to be among them. So cheers to you, Mark, and happy birthday. So what is a memory that I have of Mark, and why does it stand out? And there are many memories that I have of Mark that I don't know that one in particular stands out, but I I always see Mark smiling and going to see bands and music festivals or music in the park, and he's always dancing and taking pictures of everyone around him, and he always can capture the moment, and it's fun to watch him in his element.
Well, hello, my name is Journey Lee, and I have been friends with Mark for over 10 years. I first met Mark when we were in Laurelhurst Park at a silent dance, and I liked the way he was vibing and jiving, and we had great conversation afterward, which kicked into multiple great conversations throughout the years. And now I consider him a bestie, a confidant where I feel comfortable sharing innermost thoughts and feelings with him, and he is always present, always shows up, even if he's in a bad, he's that friend that picks you up and lifts you up when you need it. Always in a positive. He always has a smile on his face. His photography invokes such a feeling in me with how authentic he captures real life in people. And now with his comedy, I'm really watching him come into his own power. And I really enjoy watching this friend evolve. It's been really wonderful. So I hope to see more of that. Good question. I think Mark has such a confidence inside of him that I think that he shies away from sometimes. And I think that when he's behind the lens, when he has his focus, I can see him shine. It's when he's doubting himself, I don't like to see that, because he's really awesome at what he does. And I don't think that he sees the same lens that I see or others see in him. And I wish more confidence in him to rise as he claims his true authenticity, because he's an amazing artist and I've seen him grow, and I want more black and white. The fact that Mark shows up as a true friend, I've had such a hard time trusting in males since I've had my own betrayals, and he has shown me what a true friend is, that I can trust men again. That's what you do for me, Mark. You've been an incredible source of solace. I feel so loved by you and held, heard, and seen, and I don't get that from anyone other than one other person in my life, and she is a female, so you're the only male that does that for me, and why I honor and I'm so grateful for our connection, and I only hope it gets deeper and more robust as we grow old together. Oh my goodness. This man will give the shirt off his back for anyone. If he has no pennies, he will give the last penny in his pocket. He is so present and focused on people's experience. He's so loving. He's just so kind, and he's fun. His smile will light up the brightest room, and if you're feeling terrible, that smile and that little goatee, you're good. You're in good shape. I love you, Mark. Always, forever, hugs. And all the best in your creative endeavor, because you are a star.
Absolutely.
When I'm editing this, if you can introduce yourself just to the camera so I can stick a name on it.
Okay, I'm Denny, D-E-N-N-Y. And it's spelled with a lowercase d, please. Thank you. It's my humble effort to stand out in a sea of mediocrity.
I love it. I love it. Okay, are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, you want to start with some of his questions?
Yeah, let's do that. And I don't know if I'll see how many of these I fit in. I'm trying to choose one,
Sure.
and I think it's more of a series of memories when I when I was coming out of COVID in 2022. It was very difficult for me, and I didn't realize that it was difficult for most people, or a lot of people, because just like the isolation, I felt that it was something for me. But I tried to make an effort. I set out to find a group of creative people so that I could interact with creative people, and there are a lot, and I couldn't find any. And then I settled on, well, I also like funny people. So what's funny and creative? And it turned out to be improv comedy. So I signed up for an improv comedy class, and I walked in, and predictably there was a bunch of young people and 3 older people, one of them being Mark. And when I get into a new environment, I sit and observe, and I watch people, and I don't interact a lot. But Mark was Mark. Mark he was gregarious, he was friendly, he was outgoing. He introduced himself to everyone. He was encouraging to everyone. He was complimentary to everyone. And he just became an integral part of that small community as we went through that class. And when the class ended, we all went our separate ways, and some of us came back for the part 2, and Mark wasn't there. And I thought, well, Mark dropped away, but I didn't realize that Thursday nights just weren't good for him anymore. He had switched to the Monday night class. So when the third and final class began, lo and behold, there was Mark, same old Mark. And we, at the end of that class, we did a public performance. For reasons I don't know, it was a packed house of about 150 people. It was our first public appearance as comics, and it was stellar. And I stayed in that community for about an additional year. And then I drifted away. And this is the series of memories of meeting Mark and re-meeting Mark and meeting Mark again, because Mark is the only person that reached out to me from that community. And he said, hey, I don't know why, but it's important that you and I stay in contact. We need to stay in contact. And I didn't even have to think about it, because I knew when I heard it that was the right thing. And I don't know why, but we've re-entered other comedy. We go to open mics together. We took a stand-up class together. And so meeting Mark and then meeting Mark again, those are my memories of recognizing, of having there's an attraction to being with Mark that I don't think I can explain, but I just feel it. And when we, when went our separate ways and we got back together, that feeling came back, and that's one of my best memories.
Magnetic.
Magnetic is a good word to use for Mark. I mean, you could use so many words for Mark. There's a whole list: supportive, loyal, dependable, kind, friendly, giving. But my favorite, what I was going to talk about, was potential. My favorite thing to talk about Mark would be potential. He's lived more than 70 years, and he's continuing to grow because Mark is growing because Mark wants to grow. It's part of who he is. It's just continually getting better. That's why he has multiple graduate degrees. That's why he moves from field to field. Mark is always I think he sees the potential in himself, and I think he is constantly growing towards that potential, whatever that is. Mark is a positive force in my life. I don't always have, especially seasonally, I can suffer some mental health issues, depression. So things are kind of up and down for me, but Mark is a good, positive presence that doesn't waver. I want to tell him that he's special in ways that he doesn't realize. I mean, I hope that he does. When you look at this group of people here tonight, very eclectic group of people from all different walks of life and different ages and different interests, is that his presence is calming, and he probably won't think that that's the case, but he does have a calming presence because he is very steady and very stable in his support for his friends. I covered potential. Yeah, potential is the big one, and growth as part of that. And Mark's vocal about that he wants to. In fact, one of the things that he said to me is he said one of the reasons that I like being around you is that you are a person who is also growing and is also trying to become a different and better version of yourself.
Can you tell of a time when you've seen that demonstrated?
I'm going to say perseverance off the top of my head. Mark is a living example of get back up again. No matter what happens, you get back up again. I can remember a time, and sorry, Mark, but I'm going to say it. I can remember a time in one of our improv workshops when we were tasked to sing. And the point is that no one can sing, or very few people can sing. But the point is that none of these comics could sing. So the idea was to get up there and parody singing and be singing. And it's very vulnerable. And Mark froze. And boy, the empathy in that room, the way that everyone just felt heartache. And Mark did not give up. He stood there in great discomfort, seemingly frozen, but he wouldn't give up. And he finally squeaked out a line or two, and he got out of there. And it was about halfway through the 3 classes, I think, if I remember correctly. And it was one of those moments where a lot of people, you don't see them in the next meeting. But there was Mark. He was back. When you listen to stories of Mark, when you're talking to him and things that have happened in his life, he's just a living example of get back up again. Mark is, a lot of people get the description that they're a unique person, and everybody says you're a unique person, and while that's true, and I can appreciate that in people, it really is different with Mark. Mark is an absolute unique individual. He will come at you in ways that you don't expect. He might try to be funny, or he might try to be poignant, but he's always going to try to be helpful, and he's always going to be kind, and it's always going to be with your best interests at heart. And there are times when Mark, in his gregariousness, can be a lot for someone that doesn't know him. But I tell people, just stay to the end, because you're in for a treat.
I love it. And then anything else you want to say?
It's like a memorial service, but Mark is here to hear what you're going to say about him. So be nice. And I'm just kidding, because it's impossible not to be nice when you talk about Mark. And Mark, when the time comes, if I'm still around, when that inevitable day comes that you're going to have a memorial service, I wouldn't say anything different.
Oh, I have so many memories with Mark. I guess when we had first met, I saw like how like courageous he was in like pushing himself to do other things, and it made me feel like I could do more, especially with like personal development. And yeah, like there was this sense of vulnerability that he has. Like he admitted that, you know, sometimes he like lost his jobs because he couldn't do them, and it made me feel like, oh, we're allowed to admit things like that, because you know, it just can feel like so shameful. So it made me feel, you know, better about like, well, I can't do everything either, but he like would still like, you know, push and do the same job again, knowing like, you know, probably the same result. And it was just such a courageous way to be, and I remember that from the start.
Affected your life?
Well, he's taught me about friendship. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. Yeah, he's been such a good friend. You know, I was sick for quite a few years of our friendship, and I couldn't always be a good friend, but he would still reach out, and he allows me to just be me. Sometimes it just means like giving me space. Sometimes it means that, you know, like I am just like vomiting lots of words and not giving him enough time to speak, but he's still patient with me, and yeah, like he's telling me about friendship.
I love it.
Oh, that he touches people so deeply, just with his presence and just who he is without even trying. Yeah, just so lovable. Well, like I said, I mean, his vulnerability, and his ability to listen, yeah, and again, like that courageousness of him to, like when he went and decided to do some counseling for people, just, you know, went at it, and he's just so naturally good at it, and like did it for free, and helped people, and felt like he was learning more for quite a bit of it. His greatest strength, gosh, it's just like, you know, who he is. I don't like, is there one strength? It's just like such a like the totality of who he is. Yeah, I can't like pick just one. It'd be unfair, like to all the qualities he has. To someone who's just met him, He is a really good friend. He's generous and he pushes himself. He does so many events. He's energetic and relentless with like pursuing life and living life.
Anything else you want to say to Mark?
Love you.
Perfect.
That's it.
That's
Okay.
it. You did it.
Sure. Well, the first thing is I did prepare something, and I put a card that Mark had given me that from his photographs of July 19th, 2022, and it just represents Mark so well. It says, when you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy, Rumi. And then he had so many nice things. I want to acknowledge my birthday by acknowledging you, and goes on to say, as always, very kind things. So should I go ahead and, okay. I've known Mark since our time at Intel 18 years ago. I'm delighted to share the many things I appreciate about Mark, and this is only a very abbreviated list. And there are 4 points. One is his loyalty and warmth. I think I've gotten about 130 hugs from Mark. His hugs are full on, no holding back. I know he has many friends and some very lasting friendships, which says a lot about Mark, the importance he has always given to his son and daughter is also important, and how proud he is of them. 2, his insatiable curiosity that leads him to many new experiences, meeting new people and understanding them. We're trying to really understand who they are, learning more and more about himself as he plumbs any hidden corners. And then stand-up comedy. 3, his energy to go experience art, music, and people, new settings, groups, art exhibits, concerts, at least 16 a month to my 4 a month. His accomplishments: 5 marathons, 2 masters, strong and fit, dedicated. His photography so creative. His ability to remind all of us to be grateful. And I'm grateful to have Mark as a friend. Well, through 18 years, we've had lots of times to have parties and to celebrate and also to share sadness together. And he's helped me through 2 surgeries to come over and bring flowers or whatever, and always been very kind. Gratitude. I just was diagnosed with breast cancer in December. And I think just the continual idea of gratitude, which of course I know besides Mark, but he's always reminds people of that. And instead of being angry or overwhelmed or anything, I was just incredibly grateful that it was small, it was caught early, the surgery wasn't that big a deal, I don't have to do chemo, but it was gratitude. And people, haven't you cried? Haven't you? No, I've been very grateful that he works too hard on himself. He just can't let up. And just let yourself be who you are, because you're amazing. Well, gosh, probably the things I've been saying. He is quite unique. He's very smart. He's very loving. He likes to have fun. He likes to drink good wine, and that's always high on my list. Yeah. His sincerity, his authenticity. Well, he is deep. He's very intelligent. He can be a little shy and has a lot to offer.
Anything else you want to say for his birthday? Introduce yourselves.
I'm Michael. I'm Mark's son. This is my wife,
Lucy, and I'm Mark's daughter-in-law.
and this is Jackie, Mark's granddaughter. It's really tough. I don't know, Jackie. I guess we all took a trip to Japan in 2000. I was 11. Rachel, my sister, was 7. We were there for 5 weeks, and it's a really special trip, a really special memory. We were there with my dad, my sister, and our Uncle Chet, and just getting to spend so much time together, getting to see these sort of distant relatives and visit a new country was, kind of once in a lifetime thing, because, being that age, it's also new. It's, especially pre-internet, pre-social media, didn't know what we were getting into at all, didn't know what to expect. But, being able to spend that much time together as a family was really special. I mean, he's my dad. I love him a lot. I don't know. It's
Big question.
big question. Yeah. What do you think, Jackie? I don't know. I don't know if one thing about my dad is he's always been very sort of charitable and focused on helping people. One of the first kind of memories I have is doing Meals on Wheels with him when I was really little. He's volunteered at lots of different sort of places and charities over the years. He volunteered for the Dougie Center for a while. He's, volunteered and donated here at Rose Haven. So that's, a really, in my mind, a really big part of his personality that I don't know if he sort of consciously recognizes or just something that is so in the background to him now. But it's something, I really admire about him and hope I can kind of emulate too. He's my dad. I don't it's yeah. What else is there to say? The big one for me was the sort of volunteering and charity stuff. I think also it's really great sort of how open to new experiences he is. If you ask him to go out to do, go see a movie, go to a play, go out dancing, go to an art museum, anything, anywhere, he's very up for going out and trying it. He's very kind of open-minded. Trying to think of, I always think of when we were kids, he would just open Willamette Week and just pick stuff to do over the weekend with us. And it's not like he was really focused on, one particular type of thing. He's just kind of open to all experiences and really wants to sort of understand and enjoy anything he can. Very, I would say, open and enthusiastic, I guess would be kind of the short of it. Compassionate, yeah. Happy birthday.
I love you, Grandpa.
Yeah, that's it.
First, I want to say happy birthday, Mark. I'm really glad you were born and have touched all of our lives. Time flies when you have a true blue friend like you. It started with a MySpace coffee date and ended up being a cherished and enduring friendship. We've shared many deep conversations and a little gossip too. Meals over wine, cheap and expensive. Drives in search of some crazy property I'm obsessed with. Concerts in the park. helping put a hammock together on a warm summer day. All these things and more to come in this both strange and grand journey that we're all on. You are open, honest, curious, and a man of quiet strength and wisdom, coupled with an open and joyful heart. I love how you openly express yourself and are not afraid of showing vulnerability. You always show up ready and open to learn, grow, understand, and to connect. I love this about you. You are wise, not in a loud or boastful way that the world often rewards, but in a quiet knowing that comes from listening deeply, observing gently, and living fully. And your hugs are truly the best. Thank you for the light that you bring. Love you. The first time we met is such a memory because we were on a MySpace coffee date, and 2 minutes into it, Mark literally very respectfully said, "I have to let you know, I'm not feeling a connection." In my head, I was like kind of taken aback, and I was like, God, it's only been 2 minutes. And then I just said to him, well, we're both out there. We're trying to date. We're trying to find a partner. Let's be friends and allies. And that was the beginning. He's been a really good teacher for me, how he faces his personal challenges head on and just comes at it with just an openness and curiosity, and he just wants to always grow and stretch and become more authentic, which is a really rare trait, I think, and I love him for that. I hope you know how beautiful and loving you are and how important you are to have in the world, and bring that into the world. And I love you for that. His endless curiosity to stretch and grow in every situation. Whenever he experiences obstacles or disappointment, he takes time to process it, and then he gets back up on a horse and tries something new or tries to work on it, and just his perseverance and patience too. Mark is like the joyful little Buddha that you want to have a big hug from. And maybe dance. He's hard on himself about his dancing, but he's really fun to dance with. Just that I love you, Mark.
Well, Mark has always been there for me emotionally and spiritually, and he has been so patient with me when I've been upset or irrational. He's been a good listener. He has always had positive words, and he has guided me in a lot that I didn't know existed. So he's been a major inspiration to me throughout the years. My life, and he helps me to step back and be silent a minute, and to be able to take a different perspective on things, and to be understanding and loving and kind. And he also is very in touch with nature and with the human spirit and energy of the world. And he's inspired me through the 20 years we've been friends. He's always, even better than girlfriends or family, he's been someone who's always been there with just such an open heart and a kind way that he listens and he listens. I could rant and rave, and he's just there for me. So I love him. You know I love you, Mark. And so, yeah, 20 years we've been friends. Online, this is the first time we met. Been friends for 20 years through online and phone calls.
We've never met each other, but it's just like, I met him yesterday morning. It was just like I'd always known him. He was right there, right in my heart. So. Right, so that's what I was gonna say. He needs to hear some things. I've been telling him, Mark, you're not really, you have such a spiritual energy. You have so much positive things you could do for people. So, he was doing like IT, project management. Yeah, you could do that, but I think you needed more in the humanistics. I'm a doctor, I work with patients. I thought he needed to do like psychotherapy or counseling because he is so kind and so in tune with people, and he makes people feel so at ease and so calm that I said, you really need to monopolize on this special ability that you have been granted the gift of. And hopefully his new job with the health department is going to give him the opportunity to show his kindness and love and give it. He's freely given to his friends, but to the community, which is, he's always wanted to do something kind and good. He's just an amazing human being. Yeah. Oh, I think it's just his authenticity. He's very, I don't know, it's hard to say someone's open. He was telling me, and I'm going to say this for the camera, he said, well, my brother and I, we don't really talk. We kind of hang out, but we don't really open up. But it seems like when I've been around Mark, he's very open, and I'm a very open person. I tell you all about it. So I think his best quality is just that he's like true, real, human, and he's kind. He's so kind and caring. Not an evil thought crosses that mind. I love him. He's an amazing man. So, strength is a love for humanity, and he is. You're probably like, hey, I like this guy. As you're hearing all these things people are saying, but he takes it down to the minimum. I'll tell you one thing. 2006, he bought me a bracelet. I didn't wear it this time, but he bought it from some women who were in, I forget the country, but they were very, in a bad situation, and they were just working to make these bracelets. And so he ordered it to try to help them, but he sent me that bracelet across the U.S. I still have it in my jewelry box, and it's silver with a little amethyst little stone. But the fact he got it from like these women who are being like treated badly in their country, and he had took the time to try to find something he could do something good. He was going to buy me a present, but not just a present. He was going to do something good with the present. And they sent me a little thing, hey, we're these women, and I don't remember if it was in India or where, but, we hammer out these bracelets. And so not just a gift, but a gift to those women to say we support you and we love you and we want you to empower it and to make a life for yourself. So I just think his overall philosophy is to support people, whether male, female, LGBTQ. He's so supportive to that community and so open with his heart. So, love you, Mark. 20 more years, babe.
I think my first memory of Mark is probably the one that stands out the most. The first time I met him, I wasn't sure what to expect. I'd heard about him because my partner, Denny, had been working with him at Comedy Sports. And I actually saw him at a performance that they did. And I just thought he was so brave. All of them were just so brave to stand up there and tell jokes in front of strangers. It's something I could never do. And I was really impressed. He is our gaming friend, and we love when he comes over. We get to play games that we don't play by ourselves. Playing a game with two people gets kind of boring. So when you can get a third or a fourth in there, it's a lot of fun.
What games you guys play?
Mark brought over Categories one day. That was a lot of fun. What else have we played? We played an RPG game that was fun. Something else. No, I can't think of what it was. I don't even remember, but we played several fun games. He is. He is a one-of-a-kind person. He's so authentic. He's so out there as far as being what you see is what you get. Just honest and kind and passionate about whatever he's talking about. He's a really unique guy. He's not afraid to take risks. I love that about him. Well, the comedy, of course. I don't think that that's something that comes naturally to him, and he's challenged himself to do it over and over and try to perfect it. He's very thoughtful. Whenever he comes over, he always brings a bottle of wine or vegan dessert. My partner Denny is vegan, so he always brings something for us. He's got a great appetite. He always eats our cooking. He's a lot of fun to have around. Greatest strength. Probably his interest in people. He's always interested in learning more about the people he's around. And I've watched him this evening. He's just very, of course, these are all people he knows, so that makes it a little easier, but he's very engaged with whomever he's speaking with, and he asks questions. He's just genuinely interested in the people that he interacts with. Okay, let's see. Mark's a little cautious. I think we probably all are when we first meet people, but he's not afraid to put himself out there. And I think for someone who's never met him before, I'm thinking back to when I first met him, for someone who's never met him and doesn't know him, what you see is pretty much what you get. He's the real deal. He's not playing games. He's not pretending to be something he isn't. He is just, wanting to interact with you on whatever level you're comfortable with. Happy birthday, Mark. Thank you for inviting us to this wonderful celebration of your life.
I guess the best memory is when he was in Boy Scouts. He eventually became an Eagle Scout. So, I know he was very accomplished in achieving that. But I remember that he would go camping almost every weekend and come back, all muddy and dirty. And I thought, he's a real rugged guy. He's able to go out camping over the weekend and survive all this. So, although I never aspired to do that, because I know it was a lot of hard work, but that was the mirror I had as a child. He's just been a great big brother. I guess, even though we led separate lives, I admired that he was a great family man. He raised 2 wonderful kids. He was always including me in his family, so I got to see his kids grow up, and I'm very close with him. So I appreciate him letting me into his family life. That's a tough one. That he should just be confident in who he is and not worry about what other people think. He's done good things in his life. He's raised a great family, so just don't think about what other people think about him. I guess he's just different from my other brother and myself. He's led a very different life, and a lot of it is I'm sure he's led a very rich life, and I'm glad to see him celebrating and being happy at this stage. He's very caring about other people, and he cherishes all his relationships. You can see by how many long and dear friends he has at this celebration, and that's a great quality to have, to always be able to have good friends in your life. I would say he's willing to stretch himself and learn about himself. For example, he took a stand-up comedy class. He's continuing on that line, and he's always looking to learn new things. So I would say that's a great quality to have. He's a very loyal friend and a great person to know. He cherishes his friendships, and he's a very kind person. No, not too much. I mean, I'm his brother, and I've known him my whole life. But actually, since we've lived much separate lives, I feel like I don't really know him as well as maybe some of his friends who he has seen more often. But I know about his life, and I'm glad that he's enjoying his life right now.
Whenever you're ready, first of all, if you guys can both introduce yourselves for the camera.
I'm Anandi.
Hi, I'm Natalia.
And I met Mark at a meetup at an outdoor concert where my father's band was playing, and he was there with Bodhi, his wonderful dog, who has now since passed away. But as a Buddhist, I found the name Bodhi particularly interesting because Bodhi means the seed of compassion or awakening. And so I thought, he must know something about what I think about things. And this was quite a while back, and then Mark and I became better friends. And at that time when I first met him, I was seeing somebody sort of off and on, and I asked Mark what he thought about this person, and he said, well, he kind of seems like a player. I thought, dang, I knew that he could always be honest with me because that resonated with what I was really thinking. And then as time marched on, Mark and I got engaged, and Mark likes my husband very much, or my boyfriend at the time. And after we got married, my husband Adrian had a crisis, a health crisis, and he was in the ICU. And Mark was actually one of the first people who I depended on. He came to my home, and he became me so that I could sleep for a little while. And that was really powerful for me, to be able to have somebody who was so, that I trusted that much, to be in my home while I slept, and answer the phone if it was needed, and all of that. So that was really, Mark has just been a great friend for so long, and very consistent, very honest, very fun. And it might seem strange to some people to celebrate, for Mark to have a celebration of life while he's still alive. But I think that he's actually just doing what we all want to really do, which is have fun while we're alive and have people appreciate us. And so anyway, happy birthday, Mark. I love you. I'll just say that, I used to have a shop, and we had a little art wall, and Mark showed his photographs a number of times, and you came in the shop and you looked at his art for an afternoon for a little while. And that's, something that I'll remember when I first met you. It was at my shop, and just thinking about how much Mark has brought me together with so many people. Like, I can count like so many people in my life who I met through Mark. And so that's, so that was one of those moments.
So a moment that comes to mind is when I took Mark paddleboarding on the Columbia. And Mark has an adventurous spirit in a lot of ways, but I think paddleboarding was pushing it a little bit for him. But I was like, oh, you got this. I entrusted confidence in him, and we had life jackets and everything, and we're paddling down the Columbia. And at one point he falls in, and he's able to get himself back on the paddleboard, but he loses the paddle. And I guess during that time he was really scared for his life, scared of drowning and everything. He told me this later on. But the way that the day ended up was with Mark on my board, and then we were towing the second board behind us by a rope, because we had one paddle, and it worked really well. But yeah, he recently brought that back up again, and he was like, Ned, I thought I was gonna die. So yeah, but he's got that adventurous spirit.
I'm not really good at answering questions, but I'll just say that Mark has a way of Mark, sometimes when you're you're so good at being yourself, and you remind me how much I need to just relax and be myself and stop having so many filters and being so judgmental of myself, and just be. And you set a really great example.
Yeah, that's similar. That was what was coming to mind too, is I met Mark during a really challenging time in life when my sense of self was not acceptable to a lot of people in my life. And so Mark has always been more than a cheerleader. Like, he has amazing empathy skills, amazing communication skills, and so much like patience and presence also, that I've known that I can trust him. And that's really, really valuable, especially when I was going through times when there weren't a lot of people I could trust. Okay, so Mark has been looking for his passion the whole time that I've known him, the thing that drives him and brings him joy. And I see his passion every single day. He's expressing it with all of the people that he meets, all of the hobbies that he has. I see him living it so fully that it's literally inspiring. So sometimes I'm surprised that he doesn't realize how passionate he already is.
That's so well said. Yeah, that's perfect.
His curiosity. He seems available and curious to strike up a conversation with people that he hasn't met before, in a way where he wants to know, like, what makes them passionate. And he's like genuine about it. I'm like, wow, how can you do that? Yeah.
The curiosity is very evident, and it's just his fun-loving nature. The only reason why I met him is because he introduced himself. You know, and it was funny because today he kept saying how all his friends are introverts, which I had never thought about. But that's probably true, knowing his friends, knowing myself. And because he's really not. He's really an extrovert. Although I don't know if he would think he was. I don't know. Would you, Mark? Yeah, you know, like my story about when I was trying to figure out my situation with this guy, and he just was like, blah, you know, you just told it like it was. I like that quality. I'd really trust him because I know that he's not gonna just kind of like say what he thinks I want to hear. You know, he's gonna like say it how he sees it.
Yeah.
And that's also his lack of filters, which also is kind of funny sometimes.
Yeah, endearing. Yeah. Similarly, like I appreciate how honest he is, but also that when he's supportive, he doesn't try to fix people. He's just like, yeah, like I get it, and this is my honest opinion, unabashed, and like tell me your honest opinion, unabashed, and it can be messy in a way that I don't experience with everyone, and that helps the truth come out, and for me to stay connected with him over time too. So I don't feel stuck in relationship with him, like it can evolve.
Friendly.
Stylish. Spunky.
I'm Rachel, and I'm Mark's daughter.
I'm Caden, and I am Rachel's husband and Mark's son-in-law. You have plenty of them.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have so many memories. I don't know if I can pick a specific one, but I think just, you know, thinking about growing up with my dad and how much he would be there for me and my brother and just supportive and there for any of my piano recitals or swim, you know, meets or different things like that. So I'm so grateful just for being able to think about our time together. I think one of the more recent memories is just as we've been able to grow and build our family and, you know, the addition of Caden and Toby and just how much my dad has been there for us and kind of the start of our own family. So I'm very grateful for that.
My favorite memory probably has to be our family vacation to Japan. That was just such an unforgettable experience and so memorable in so many ways. And I really appreciate how willing and gung-ho you were, not wanting to stop, even though how hot and humid it was. You just wanted to keep pushing forward for the kids. And I appreciate that because it was a really fun vacation. It was fantastic to spend time with you and Michael. And I wanted to thank you for just being so welcoming and you know, seamlessly kind of adopting me as your son. And it always cracks me up when you say that I'm your favorite son-in-law because it's a unique privilege.
I mean, my dad has influenced my life in so many ways. I think the kind of biggest thing I can think of is just his love and his empathy for not only me and our family, but just, you know, he brings that to all of his interactions with his friends, my husband, his sister-in-law. He always just has taught us to, like, you know, be kind and welcoming to others and be open to learning about new experiences and to just accept people for who they are and what they bring. So I feel like that's kind of the biggest thing that I think of.
I can second that too. Just Mark's willingness and openness to trying new things. He will do anything, even things that some people might scrunch their face up to. But I think that's fantastic because it's taught me to always be willing to put your foot out or put yourself out there. You know, take a step and try something new. So I appreciate that lesson.
I think my dad is a lot stronger than he thinks he is, and he's loved by so many people, and I don't think he's realized how big of an impact he's made on a lot of people's lives, and I'm really grateful to have him make an impact on my life and be able to try to build that legacy for myself. And
I think that sums it up. I mean, there is a bunch of people that appreciate having Mark in their lives, myself and us included, you know. I think that what's happening right here is a summary of that exactly. He touches so many people's lives and he brings so much joy to people's lives, and has profound impacts on people wherever he goes.
my dad is just not afraid to be himself, regardless of who is around or what he is doing. And I admire that, and I hope I can bring that into my own life. And I think it's a great quality to have.
I think just the way he's approached me being accepted as part of the family, he's very willing to accept me for who I am without judgment. Mark's never judged me once, and I appreciate that because, you know, we live in a world where people are very quick to judge all the time, and Mark's never done that to me, and has always, you know, took me for how I am and accepted me, and we've become close because of that. And I'm very thankful that he's been so willing to just have no preconceived notions about who I am and just, you know, bring me in as his own son. So thank you. Mark loves to have fun. Mm-hmm. I will say that for sure. That is one of my favorite qualities about him, is that he always wants to be like easygoing, carefree, have fun, doesn't want to step on people's toes or cause any type of situation where there's arguments or anything like that. He's always wanting to do what's necessary to pave the way to have fun and to make a good time.
Yeah, I would say the same thing of just his joy and, you know, the fact that he tries to bring people together. I think that that's a very unique and kind of rare thing these days, is trying to bring people together, even if it's uncomfortable and even if we have to have icebreakers and things like that. You know, he wants people to have that connection and to build that. So I feel like that's a very unique quality. My dad is a loving, patient, adventurous person that wants to build community, build connection, and bring people together, not only with him, but just in general. And yeah, I think he just likes to kind of go outside the box and try new things, and just meet different people that are out there, and tries to bring people together in that way.
I would second that, and also say that it's he's got a unique perspective when it comes to his photography. I've seen some of his work, the way he looks at the natural world around him and wants to capture that. The music that he listens to, his friends, he's always unique in his thought process and his perspective on things, and is willing to share that, which I appreciate.
I love you so much, Dad, and I know that you have so much ahead of you, and we have so much ahead of us as a family, and I'm just so grateful for the time that we've had together, and I'm excited to continue to build new memories, find new beaches to go to, new pizza places to go to, and just continue to build our love and build our family, and I love you so much.
All that, and I hope sometime I graduate to be your only son-in-law, not just your favorite.
First of all, a very, very happy birthday to you, my dear friend. I'm very happy that we met so long ago on this wonderful dating sites. And I remember being all excited to have coffee with you because it was during COVID. And I'm very glad we became friends and did make so many great memories together, all the concerts, shows and everything. And your friendship whenever I needed a good ear to listen to me, or when I just needed company, you were always there for me, and I hope I can do the same, even so now I am in Italy. And I hope next year you really come and visit. By the way, we have awesome good wine, and here's to you, my friend. I love you. Have a great birthday. Celebrate whatever you can, and I hope to see you soon, and I'm so glad that we met, and I treasure the memories we have. And yeah, here's to you, my friend. Ciao.
Hi, Angel Mark. Hi, everybody. My name is Cassandra, and I am wanting to step in and be a mirror for Angel Mark today on his life celebration and talk about how this beautiful angel and his wings has inspired me in my life. Well, there's a lot of them, Mark, but I'm just going to use a few. One of the things that I find so unbelievably beautiful about your creation and your existence is the way that you really live into your life. Like all the events you go to, all the things that you sign up for, like knowing and seeing you really want to fully embrace this human experience is so inspiring. And I think everybody around you knows that about you. You are just a very inspiring, beautiful creation. And as a bridge to something else that I just absolutely adore about you is your ability to capture a moment. Speaking from the queen of loving her now moment and being present to life, you have this unbelievable artistry of transporting us into a moment through your photography. And I will always be grateful for the book that you gave me and for those memories and the way that you not only capture the moment, but you're able to put words to it. And you know, I love my words, so and I think the cherry on top, and I'll give you just one more thing out of all the things that I love about you, is your ability to laugh and play in this life. That to me is everything. And understanding that, like, we can shift, you know, from sadness into happiness in just a moment. I still remember doing that with you and playing in the magic with you. And on today, the day of your life celebration, I just want you to know that your existence changes us, and it's definitely changed mine. I love you so, so, so much. I hope that you are dancing and playing and improvising and doing all of the things and getting showered with so much love, because you are loved, Angel Mark. Love you.
Hi, Mark. We met nearly 10 years ago when we both responded to an online dating request. Remember that? You were late for the first meeting. I think you went to the wrong Starbucks, but that didn't change the attraction that we felt. And that attraction developed into a love for each other that we have characterized as possible twin flames, or at the very least, you are the brother I never had. We survived COVID by being in a dinner movie bubble for months. You would come to my house most weekends with flowers. You know how much I love flowers. I would cook, and then we'd settle on the couch for a movie. Sometimes we wouldn't make it to the movie due to our long talks about the ways of the world and our own growing pains. You were on a continued search for the right woman and shared your adventures, and I was wandering around in the wilderness of, oh well, and whatever. I think you know yourself better than most and exude a vulnerability that attracts attention. Think your stand-up. How incredible is that, to put yourself out there and face the consequences? You do it beautifully. Recently, from one of the many Instagram links you've shared, this seems to fit. I place no demand that you bring the very best version of yourself to every occasion we meet. Between us, there is no contest of composure or need to impress. You can show up with fraying strands of cotton seams and DNA jerry-rigged by the safety pins of coffee and obstinance. We will both be present in all our unraveling. Make no attempt to get it together for me. If we are together, then that's all I need. By David Gates. With more love for you on the way. To the end.